So we're joined today by my good friend Ralph Broad. Hello, Ralph. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, hi there, Em.
So, Ralph, I thought that we might start today by asking you how you make decisions in your own life and how do you have these decisions honoured by others?
Hey, look, I'm really fortunate to have a small number of people in my life who know me really well. They love me and they look out for me. I've also got a whole lot of people who like the same things that I like, and people who value me for who I am or just recognize me in the street and say hi. So when I think about both small and big decisions in my life, these people are all really important. If there are times that are difficult, it's my relationship networks that help me. And sometimes this includes people in formal roles as well, such as my GP. If there are really big decisions in my life, it's my relationships that they offer a safe place of trust where I can think, I can speak up safely, and I can explore without any judgment. They help me to build my confidence, to receive, understand, use, and share information. And they'll be the ones that are sitting alongside me to help me with planning and decisions and problem solving. But they'll also be there to celebrate and encourage if things work and I get things right. My wonderful supportive relationships all have different backgrounds, got different lived experiences, got very different beliefs and roles, but they still help me to think about what I'm trying to achieve and how I can make it happen. They do sometimes ask me really hard questions and challenge me in a supportive way, tell me to think about any alternative or consequences of my possible choices. They provide information or connections that might be useful and help me to weigh up which direction I could go or what I could do. Not everyone's agreed with my life decisions, the possible risks they might think I've taken, but they're still alongside me and there for me when I need it.
So you're talking then, Ralph, that relationships are important for anybody when they're making decisions and to have support for decisions and to have those decisions heard. I know that relationships are a big part of the work that you're doing in the UK. So local area coordination in Australia is quite different, isn't it, to local area coordination in the UK? So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about the differences.
Hey, look, local area coordination in England and Wales is built on the core foundations and evidence from the original developments in Western Australia, which was also the key to the original design and aspirations of local area coordination with NDIS. I think we explored and quickly realized the value of making it about all people in our communities. And you start to get multiple connected outcomes through a more inclusive approach. That's what we've found. There's no criticism here. This is just how things have emerged differently. So rather than being based on institutional labels or service needs, it's a very inclusive role. It's a whole person, whole family, whole community focus alongside people of all ages, all backgrounds, their families and the communities in which they live. As with the groundbreaking original WA developments, there's a much stronger focus on building individual family and community capacity, connections and contribution, a real focus on valued roles and resilience, rather than just the focus on assessment, eligibility and access to services. Now, I'm really clear that for some people, services and funding are hugely important, but there's much more to life than just services and funding. And of course, not everyone is deemed eligible for funding, or they have to wait until their situations worsen. That's neither desirable nor a good way of working. I'll talk a little bit about the connected role, if that's okay, because that might help explain some of it as well. So local area coordination, built on the Western Australian work, has a really connected role that combines a range of activities and roles that are often delivered separately in traditional needs and service-based systems. So there's a really intentional focus on building a relationship of trust, so taking time to get to know someone really well, their gifts, their strengths, their aspirations, relationships, as well as their needs. An understanding of the whole person. It's about exploration and thinking and imagining different and better, and then taking action. As a really important part about building a vision for the future, thinking about how family, friends, and community can be a help and alongside. And lastly, unless there's an emergency, how services and funding can also be of value. So I think getting things round the other way is really, really powerful. Again, another really important bit is around being actively involved in building more welcoming, inclusive, and supportive communities. Communities are a really rich source of relationships, support, opportunities and contribution. It's a very intentional focus on building natural relationships and mutual support. So friends, people with shared aspirations, shared interests, all that type of stuff.
So Ralph, have you got any examples of somebody who you've seen where those relationships have really supported them to live a different life and to make their own choices?
Oh, yes. As you can imagine, over the years, there's been so many different stories of people regaining control of their lives. There's one I've chosen here. It's a story shared by a young woman called Rochelle and colleagues in Western Australia. And it's included in the recent book that's been published on local coordination. So Rochelle is a 17-year-old young woman who identifies as being Aboriginal, had been homeless since 15, had no belongings, studying in year 11 but finding it difficult to attend, struggling to pay her bills, had experienced multiple experiences of grief, loss, trauma, poor mental health, and her relationships with family had broken down. She invited Kerry, a local coordinator, into her life. Kerry took time to build trust. And building trust is really difficult, but probably the most important thing to do. Took time to get to know her and to understand who and what was important to her, her aspirations for the future, and to start exploring how to make it happen. Rochelle had some really strong ideas about what was important to her. So she wanted to get on top of her immediate issues, get a driver's license, finish and graduate from school, and to get a qualification as a hairdresser. The value and range of the relationships that started to emerge were really significant in Rochelle's journey. So some of the things they did together included Kerry supported Rochelle to explore what she wanted in life, identify the really big issues that were important to her, and to plan what was needed and to build connections with people, the local community and services. There's a bit here that relationships from a range of different backgrounds are really important. So people who could be part of her life, help her along the way, and to build her capacity and confidence to make her own decisions and feel supported. So there's a bit of a list here that I'm thinking about. So first of all, there's probably the most important one was to build an informal connection with a strong local woman with a shared lived experience and who was well connected and active in her community. She is there in times of celebration as well as times of crisis. So just a really good, powerful, respectful person. She also introduced Rochelle to other young women with shared interests. So suddenly her relational network had grown exponentially in a very short period of time. Kerry also helped her to access food. So food and money was a problem, but helped her access food so she could welcome her family into the home over Christmas. So as part of rebuilding family connections. Helped her with information to understand her rights and responsibilities as a tenant, and information to help her to make decisions. Helped her to build a positive relationship with the local housing office and her confidence in dealing with the housing officers. So building her choice and control and confidence in doing the things she needed to do. Helped her to connect with the doctor's outreach service to support her with her mental health. Helped to build another positive connection with the benefits agency and is now receiving the right financial assistance. And also to build positive conversations with her local college to ensure she knows what she needs to do to complete her final year at school. And also to, again, to build positive relationships with other specialist services around her mental health. So Rochelle is now connected with some amazing local people who have shared interests and experiences, who care about her, who share some of the joy of shared interests, who are there to celebrate together and can help her in times that are difficult. They're also helping her to support her well-being and reduce her reliance on formal services. So she needs Kerry less, and she needs formal services less. She's now able to address independently any issues with a housing officer directly, only lets Kerry know what she's achieved instead of needing her presence at the meetings. She now has an understanding of the responsibilities of having to manage her financial commitments in order to prevent her losing her home and getting a bad credit rating. Really big life stuff. She can manage now her tenancy directly with housing officers as needed, and has peace of mind that she's keeping up to date with her payments. I think it really shows that role and value of a range of people with a range of roles, a range of experiences who are all there for her. And it's all key to determining her self-determination, choice and control. I think it's a really lovely, there's a really big story, but this is quite a condensed version. I think it's a lovely example of someone taking back control of their life.
No, absolutely. That's a fantastic story. And it just shows the difference that those connections and people listening and hearing that voice can make.
Absolutely.
We're nearly out of time now, Ralph. So I'm just wondering, what's the one thing that you'd like to leave people with today?
To quote my good friend Eddie Bartnick, the pandemic, of all things, has revealed probably what we've always known, but not paid enough attention to, that social resilience is a do together, not a do yourself project. Being part of and with people is really important. Relationships matter, relationships are wonderful, and relationships are powerful. I think that's my most important bit of learning, actually.